Welcome to a new Team CGC 9.8 video. So today I want to talk about the 9.8 market. I got a bunch of CGC 9.8 completed listings to go through. And I think the market right now is a bit of a mixed bag where, there's some keys that you can point to that are pulling back in price a little bit, but other keys that are like trending really nicely and holding their value. So we'll get into some of the details here as we move through the price list. Okay, but first one up is a Marvel Superheroes Secret Wars number 8. Yeah, big black costume key issue. In the 9.8 direct edition, I saw one sell for $722.50. I think that's a pretty decent value right now, sort of all things considered, I guess, because, just a few days ago, the Venom 2 movie being released, all of these sort of black costume, Venom, and Carnage key issues are a little hot right now. $722.50 I think is pretty fair. But, you wait sort of 3 to 6 months after this Venom 2 movie plays out. I think you'll probably be able to get this one sort of closer to $600, maybe $600 to $650 would be a price target to aim for on a Secret Wars number 8. But yeah, cool to kind of see one go for $722.50 in the current market environment. Okay, next one's a really cool modern that was catching my eye. It's a Absolute Carnage Miles Morales number 1, the Acclaim variant. So there's a really popular, it's a Maximum Carnage comic that came out in the early 90s with a video game, and it's sort of known as the Acclaim variant because that was the video game company that made the game apparently. But it's one of the only lower printed Carnage comics that you could buy, so very popular among Carnage fans. This is a cover homage of that one, so if you're a big Carnage fan, you might want to consider this one. Selling in the 9.8 white pages for $112.50. So pretty cool, affordable modern to think about if you're a big Carnage fan. All right, next one. Avengers Annual number 10. Yeah, big X-Men key. First appearance of Rogue and Madeline Pryor. This one's really heated up in the past year with a lot of the MCU X-Men anticipation of, a new movie by a new X-Men movie by the MCU. So this one, in a direct edition, selling 9.8, saw one sell for $1,552. I would put this one in the basket of, this one's trended up nicely and is kind of holding its value. Maybe a few had sort of went higher than that as the rumors have sort of, come off and on here in the last 6 to 12 months. But $1,552 is pretty fair right now. Maybe you can aim a little bit under $1,500 if you're, trying to get a deal on an Avengers Annual number 10. But, if Rogue comes out looking awesome in an MCU X-Men movie, there's way more upside for this one. So it's an attractive one. Okay, next one's cool to see kind of a direct and a newsstand sell right around the same time, and you can get kind of the price difference. Uncanny X-Men 282. Yeah, first appearance of Bishop, Malcolm, and Randall on this one. And it's kind of their cameo, but they're on the cover, so the Bishop fans kind of go to this one more so than his first full appearance. So in a direct edition, Uncanny 282, 9.8 white pages for $312, saw one sell. In a newsstand, saw one sell for $815.01. So we're getting more than double for the newsstand edition. This is in that generation where the newsstands are very attractive, from a kind of collector perspective, that late 80s to early 90s, where the percentage of the prints of newsstands kind of started to get really low during this period. So you can kind of understand that. But yeah, just pretty cool to get the two prices there. All right, next one's a pretty cool modern that I've sort of followed over the last year as it's been released. TMNT, The Last Ronin number 1 in the first print, 9.8 white pages. Saw one sell for $172.50. This one's kind of holding its value for, brand new comic. A lot of the times, the prices will be sort of elevated when it first comes out. I'm pretty sure when they first came out, they were sort of in that $150 to $200 range. So this one's still holding strong, $172.50. And yeah, there seems to be a pretty big Last Ronin cult of fans. And, this one might make sense. And I think, yeah, $172.50, a pretty fair value for that one. All right, next one, Batman Vengeance of Bane special, number 1 in the CGC 9.8. This is probably one of the best 9.8s you can buy right now, just sort of value-wise. And big first appearance of like a Batman villain that I think Batman villains are almost like first appearances of heroes in some ways. They're just, so classic, and, almost no Batman villain bigger than Bane. So seeing two of them sell, a good idea the range of price for this book. One for $572.70 and another for $765. So the $572.70, the pictures on that auction weren't looking very good. It was on eBay. And the seller, I think, didn't really have a lot of experience selling. So that's sometimes when you're going to get a bit of a lower price on an auction, you're kind of taking your chances. Maybe there's a nick on the case or something because the picture's so bad that you can't see. But that's sort of the range of prices there. $570 to $70, I think, is a great value for Batman Vengeance of Bane. And someone also paying up to $765 for that one. All right, next one. Amazing Spider-Man 361. Interesting to see these ones selling right now. In the newsstand edition, too. Seeing quite a few of these popping up right now. It makes kind of sense. I think a lot of people out there were like, oh, I'm going to buy all these up, and then when Venom 2 comes out, I'm going to throw them up on eBay and see how much they sell for. So quite a lot of supply for this one. And seeing, 4 or 5 prices here. For newsstand version, Amazing Spider-Man 361, CGC 9.8 white pages, $1,076.51, $1,125. Another one sold for $1,125, and one sold for $1,100. So similar story to kind of the Secret Wars number 8 book we talked about. You know, you wait 3 to 6 months on these Carnage key issues, Venom key issues, you're probably going to get a better price. I think you can get below 1,000 on this one, maybe even below 900 in 3 to 6 months for the newsstand version of Amazing Spider-Man 361. Next one, Young Avengers number 1 in the 9.8. Yeah, a book I've been absolutely wrong about over the last year or so. Selling for $1,074. So, you know, my issue with this book, I guess, it's all, you know, when it was like $200, $250, I always said, you know, I don't really like when they're just like New Avengers, Young Avengers, Dark Avengers, you know, Secret Avengers. Like they just add a word to Avengers. It doesn't seem that creative to me. But they've given Young Avengers a push, and Kate Bishop's getting the push, and this one has gone from, you know, $200 to $250 all the way to $1,074 now in the 9.8. I'd try to aim for under 1,000 on this one if you were looking to buy a Young Avengers number 1 9.8. Next one, X-Men Annual number 14, Gambit cameo on this book. So cool one to think about if you're a big Gambit fan. And this one's trended up so well. This is in the 9.8. Well, one selling here for $590 in a direct edition, 9.8 white pages. Yeah, this is one before the coronavirus and before a lot of this MCU chatter. This was like $120 as a good sort of, in the 9.8, as just a good sort of secondary Gambit key issue. So $590, that one's come a long way. Maybe there's still some more upside, though, if Gambit comes out looking awesome in the MCU, X-Men movies. Uncanny X-Men 266 also saw one sell for. This is a really good price for this one. $861.01 for an Uncanny 266, 9.8 white pages. This one was in an old case. I do say that's a good price. I've saw many of these in sort of the last 3 to 6 months sell for like $1,000, $1,100, sort of in that range. So $861.01, even though this one was in an old case, it actually looked really good, nice centering. I was watching it and, you know, kind of thought once or twice maybe I should throw in a bid. And I think $861.01 is a price target to aim for if you're looking for an Uncanny 266 right now. Okay, next one, a Spawn number 50. This one is such a great affordable alternative to Spawn number 1. It's a cover homage of Spawn number 1. Spawn number 1 in the direct edition, there's like 7,000 of them in the 9.8, so this one's just a better collector item in the 9.8. Spawn number 1, I really like the newsstand version of that one. But Spawn 50 in the direct version, this is in that basket, I think, of trending up nicely and holding its value. Going for $265 in an auction. Spawn 50, 9.8 white pages. So this is another one before coronavirus. This was like $100. And there was once or twice where I was very close to pulling the trigger on this one, right around that $100 to $125 range. Kind of wishing I did now. It's sort of becoming wanted among Spawn fans is my feeling of just talking to some Spawn fans, and occasionally Spawn 50s brought up. So it's becoming wanted, yeah, and for good reason. $265 I think is a pretty good price target to aim for. Maybe you can get it below $250 for Spawn 50 CGC 9.8 white pages. Okay, next one is a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles number 51. The retailer incentive variant, though. It's good to see this one go in an auction as well. It sold for $338.75. So this is the more rare variant of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 51, first appearance of Jennika. I really love the first print cover. It's just got a great eye appeal, and you got all the turtles on the cover. It's a cool one. This variant, it's more rare. you know, you got to get up close to sort of see what's going on because it's a sketch cover with a lot going on. And I think that takes away a little bit from it because in the 9.8, they're about the same price, I would say. They usually go for about the same price, even though the variant's, you know, technically more rare. Yeah, I think $338.75 if you're looking for the variant version of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 51 in the 9.8. That's actually a good price to aim for. I've seen people try to get like $400 for that one and over. Next one, Amazing Spider-Man 375. This one's a pretty cool one that maybe it's even kind of prematurely cooling down a little bit because saw one sell in a direct edition for $160. This was one when like Let There Be Carnage, you know, kind of off and on in the last year, let's call it. It's kind of heated up. I saw it sell for over 200, like 225 area, and that was always like, wow, that's super expensive. This Amazing Spider-Man 375 is one where before coronavirus, you know, a year or two ago, it was, you know, $60, $70, and not a lot of people were even thinking that its first appearance of Anne Wang, She-Venom. So, you know, at around 160, that's kind of making sense. I think that's a price target to aim for right now. Maybe it cools down even a little bit more and you get it under 150, you know, kind of 3 to 6 months after this Venom 2 movie plays out. All right, next one here is a G.I. Joe, A Real American Hero, #1. Yeah, this one's been on a pretty wild ride in the last year or two. Seeing one sell in a direct edition, so this one's a direct as well, for $1,356.20. So big key issue, you're getting pretty good money, but this was one where really when the books really started heating up, you know, maybe like coronavirus happened, and then a few months after that, all the 9.8s really started heating up, and Snake Eyes was being rumored of coming out, and this book had a lot of hype going for it at that time. There were a few that had sold for like $3,500, $4,000, like ridiculous prices. And I was sort of questioning those prices, like the validity of the prices. Like, was someone trying to pull a scheme behind the scenes? Like maybe they're having their friend purchase it to make it look like one sold? Because $3,000, $4,000 did not make sense in this one in the 9.8. It's actually not that rare of a 9.8 for how big, kind of a big of a key issue is. The 9.8 ratio, I'm pretty sure it's like 18-ish%, like almost 20%, which is not really worth like paying up for like a really rare 9.8. So that always like perplexed me. Now Snake Eyes kind of bombed. Not a lot of G.I. Joe hype or you know, rumors going around. $1,356.21. I think that's actually price to aim for on this one now. Right around, you know, if you want to be a little bit more patient, $1,250 for a G.I. Joe #1, I think is totally worth it now. And certainly, you know, if you saw them during that time when the hype was pretty crazy, yeah, it was just pretty insane to see them go at such high prices. So now they're cooling down, and you could really think about buying this one for a fair price because it is a great one. It's got, you know, first appearance of Cobra Commander, Baroness, Snake Eyes, like everyone, all the Joes. Okay, next one here. Uncanny X-Men #221. Yeah, big first appearance of Mr. Sinister on this one. In a direct edition. Saw one sell for $489.92. This one's kind of in a good time right now where, you know, obviously there's the MCU X-Men speculation that's heated this one up, and this one has trended up in value nice. But if Mr. Sinister comes out in those X-Men movies, there's still some more upside for this one. And, you know, things are cooling down just a little bit, I think, for X-Men, where, you know, we're seeing that first appearance of Gambit go for a decent price. And I think you'll want to keep your eyes open for Uncanny X-Men 221 at a decent price if you're looking to buy. I think it's a decent time to buy, and there's still some upside if Mr. Sinister gets in the MCU X-Men movies, which I really hope he does because I think he just looks really cool, and I'm sure they would do a good job with Mr. Sinister on the big screen. Next one, big Wolverine key. I don't talk about this one much. Wolverine #1, first appearance of Patch. I definitely prefer like Wolverine Limited Series over this one, #1, but this one, yeah, this one's trended up nice. All kind of Wolverine keys are kind of, you almost can't miss on them, but this one's done pretty well. Saw one sell in a 9.8, $460.50. You know, I don't have this one in the 9.8, and I'd probably, to be honest, I'd probably recommend to take that $460 and put it towards a Wolverine Limited Series #1 if you didn't have that one. Maybe you're the biggest Wolverine fan, you want all of them, that's great, but that's just seeming a little bit too expensive. And, you know, who knows, maybe they come out with like Patch Wolverine and something and this explodes, so who knows, that could be absolutely wrong. But cool to see one go for a $460.50 for a Wolverine #1 9.8 white pages first patch. Okay, next one here. Seeing just an auction end in the last few days for Amazing Spider-Man 300 in a 9.8. Yeah, I brought out my old case one. I got two of them, luckily. This one's in the old case, looking awesome. This old case, Amazing Spider-Man 300. So in an auction, this just ending about 3 or 4 days ago, just kind of right on the day the Venom 2 movie came out. An eBay auction, 9.8 white pages, sold for $6,500. So I think, same story with all these Venom key issues right now. I think you wait that 3 to 6 months, you're going to get a better price. This one, even before the movie, about a month or two before the movie, the hype sort of subsided a little bit. And you saw a lot of these go for under 6,000. I think one might have even got under 5,000 there. But the movie's out now, heating back up. One popped up on eBay, sold for 6,500. I would definitely aim for under 6,000 in 3 to 6 months if you wanted an Amazing Spider-Man 300 in the 9.8. Next one, Marvel .1 number 1. First appearance of Sam Alexander, New Nova. This is a really cool one. This is the Bradshaw variant. I kind of prefer this cover, even though the other cover is pretty cool and Nova's on the cover. But this one, I love all the heroes and the colors of this Bradshaw variant. And I think it does seem to be maybe the more popular variant for this first appearance in New Nova. Selling for $312. Yeah, this is a pretty decent one. That's a good modern that's trended up in price well. We've always covered, we used to cover this one sort of a little bit before the coronavirus happened and even when things started to heat up. But it would sell for like $160, $170. So now selling for about $312 in an auction. I think, first New Nova, if you're a fan, that's definitely the one to get. And I really like the Bradshaw variant of that one, going for $312. Cool newsstand book to see sell here. Spider-Man 2099, number 1 in the newsstand. So, you see a lot of people going after this one, thinking that Spider-Man 2099 could get into the Spider-Verse. I think that's a decent speculation. The newsstand version of this one in a 9.8 sold for $535. And I'm pretty sure I saw a newsstand of this one. It was maybe a month ago. It sold for more than $535. So I actually think $535 for this newsstand version of Spider-Man 2099 number 1 is a decent deal. I'm pretty sure I saw this one go at sort of $700 to $800, really expensive. One surprised me on this one, but I think this is a good deal for at $535 for Spider-Man 2099 number 1 in the newsstand, 9.8 white pages. All right, next one, another newsstand seeing sell, Venom Lethal Protector number 1 in the newsstand. I really like Lethal Protector's pretty cool, first solo Venom comic, but I do prefer the newsstand version. This is like an early 90s comic, going to be super heavily printed. For similar reasons, I prefer the newsstand on Amazing Spider-Man 361. Same deal with a Lethal Protector number 1. But it's heating up. Saw the newsstand sell for $418. Yeah, that's definitely heating up. The newsstand was right around sort of $200 to $250 for, this is a year or two ago. And the direct was always, $150, $125. Now I think the direct is about $200 to $250. And the newsstand, $418, I think is a pretty decent fair value. Yeah, that's a cool one, Lethal Protector newsstand. Okay, next one, a newsstand as well. New Mutants 98. This one, though, was an off-white to white page copy. CGC 9.8 off-white to white pages, not pure white pages. In the newsstand version, though, ended up selling in an auction for $3,350. Yeah, this is an early 90s comics where the newsstands are really collectible and really sought after. So, a New Mutants 98 right now in a non-newsstand 9.8 white pages goes for probably about $1,700 to $1,800 now. So, off-white to white in the newsstand 9.8, $3,350. In the white pages, you're probably getting up to $3,500 on this one in a newsstand. But, yeah, a really attractive one to go after in the newsstand if it's within your budget. New Mutants 98, first big appearance of Deadpool on that one. Okay, and last one here, Spawn number 1. In a newsstand. Yeah, so I talked about Spawn 50, which I think is an awesome, affordable alternative if maybe you already have a couple Spawn number 1s or whatever it might be. But a Spawn number 1 in a newsstand, seeing one sell for a good price, $886. Newsstand version of Spawn number 1. Yeah, this is basically first appearance of Spawn, a really classic collectible book. I definitely prefer the newsstand version, the more rare version of Spawn number 1. $886, that's a price to aim for pretty much. Yeah, I think these have kind of off and on the hype generates for Spawn for whatever reason, and these have got over 1,000 in the past 6 to 12 months, let's call it. $8.86 I think is a fair value if you're looking to pick up a Spawn #1 newsstand in the 9.8. Yeah, right, sort of under 900 I think is a great fair value, and you could really hold Spawn #1 newsstand for a real long time, and I see there being quite a lot more upside for that book, especially if Spawn comes out in a really cool movie. And I'm sure there are a lot of Spawn fans will kind of come out and be really excited about that movie, and this issue still got a lot of upside, I think. Okay, so great to get caught up with a bunch of prices. Probably the best thing I think you can do as like a 9.8 collector is just check some of the current prices for all these books and just be up to date on what some of the fair value is for the books, because they change quite often. And if you're looking to buy a certain book, it's great when you have that updated price information, so you're not going to overpay for anything. And if you do overpay, you sort of know you're overpaying, which is something I've done before, admittedly, but just way better to have more knowledge and more prices. So yeah, these price update videos are great. All right, well, we'll leave it at that, team. Thanks so much for watching. Hopefully you got some ideas and some good information. I'll see you on the next one.